Welcome, my friends and enemies. Glad you are here. Um, it's kind of a mixed feelings day for me because I get to talk about a series that I grew up on and I have loved since I was a teenager, and it's getting rebooted. So I initially was like, "Ooh, that could be cool." It's not Fable 4; it's going to be Fable. What can I expect from this? Initially I thought it was the same Lionhead Studios who did the original stuff. I thought it was Peter Molyneux and everybody was going to be on it as they were the previous ones. But I was wrong on all accounts. It's not Peter Molyneux. Peter Molyneux doesn't care about Fable. He's basically said as much in his own words. Um, it's not Lionhead Studios. It's, I think, Playground Games, I think is the name of the studio. So none of the original people were working on the Fable 1 through 3 are working on this one that I'm aware of. If they are, they're like a really far up in the background person, and then I'm not going to be able to know their names. Um, but I don't think any of the writing team, any of the mechanics team, and anything like that is the same. So I have mixed feelings, though I'm leaning more pessimistic than optimistic due to the nature of uh, you might say all the individual pieces of information coming together as a whole, like the overall puzzle as opposed to the individuals. Now, there are some things that look similar, or some things that could easily be seen as normal for the Fable games. There's some things, though, that were pretty big changes that I didn't like. Um, and we'll go over all that kind of stuff. So, let's just read an article by, I believe it's Games Radar. And Fable 4. I don't know why you call it Fable 4 when we literally just in this article say it's not Fable 4, but okay. Everything we know so far about the new Fable game. Fable, aka Fable 4, is coming in 2026, and we're here to break down its open world morality system and more. Or lack thereof in the morality system. This is a picture allegedly from the game. Um, they uglified her on purpose because the actual actress is not that hideous. But somehow the guys they can typically make look like the actual actors and such, and they might do some minor alterations, but not like unrecognizable aspects. But her, for whatever reason, they made her way more hideous or something. I guess they're trying to represent their the audience they cater to or something, which is not a good feel to have. Fable, commonly referred to as Fable 4, is shaping up to be one of the most exciting new games for 2026. Debatable. And we're here to break down everything you need to know about the upcoming action RPG ahead of launch. Are you, though? Set to bring us to the classic setting of Albion. Is it, though? Because what I saw from the trailer, it wasn't really Albion. But okay. Like we've never seen it before, the adventure is officially titled Fable rather than Fable 4, as it promises to be a new beginning for the series while staying true to the spirit of the original trilogy. I'm going to press X to doubt, just based upon what we know of the game right now. With our first proper look at Playground's Fable reboot during the Xbox Developer Direct Showcase in January, the studio showed off an extensive number of features we can expect alongside some story details, a look at combat, and more. The beloved Fable series is home to one of the best RPGs of their day, bringing us to a fairy tale world that's not necessarily true. It's not directly a fairy tale world. It is a fantasy world. I need to... Okay. Trying to differentiate between fairy tale world and a fantasy world. A fairy tale is usually like a folk tale or a myth or something of that, a legend. As you might be more commonly familiar with the Grimm brothers and stuff like that. Little Miss Muffet, Jack and Joe went up the hill, Humpty Dumpty, the usuals. I mean, they did this in the Shrek universe, even with Puss in Boots. There's a lot of other kind of things, Jack and the Beanstalk, that kind of stuff. So that would be considered a fairy tale. Like Cinderella's a fairy tale, Snow White's a fairy tale, those kind of things. Sleeping Beauty. Um, but a fantasy is one in which it's a fantastical setting, and it may have fairies in it. Because if this is a fairy tale, then Legend of Zelda is a fairy tale because it has actual fairies in it. That's why they're different categories. It's a categorization error. They're different genres. It's like fantasy versus sci-fi. Like sci-fi can encompass some fantasy, and there are sometimes crossovers. Like Ellie Motaset had crossovers where he had like the supernatural, fantastical, and then he mixed it with sci-fi laser guns and stuff. Um, Now Albion has always been a fantasy realm. It's a universe of its own accord, and it's always been its own thing, right? Like it's Albion. I mean, Albion's a generic term for a lot of things, but in the Fable universe, Albion is Albion. It's the Hyrule of Fable, and I don't remember if it has actual legitimate fairies in it, but it's got like hobs, which are basically like goblins. It's got bigger hobs, which are like Urukai orcs, kind of a thing. Like they're just larger versions. They've got trolls, they've got werewolves, that kind of a thing. They've got some fantastical or even some fairy tale aspects. However, it's never been themed, thematically wise, as fairy tale. So this bothered me, especially when you see in the trailer where there's some beans planted and it shoots up this giant, beanstalk, and you're getting the whole, you know, golden goose at the top of the beanstalk kind of story, and you're like, that doesn't fit in the Fable universe as the Fable universe has been presented. So the first initial thought I had after seeing that trailer was it's being co-opted. They're trying to make a new game, but they're wanting to do it the easy route. In other words, they're not world building, they're world adding. They're taking what is Albion's universe and Albion's world and Albion's kingdoms, characters, and all that stuff, and they're grabbing other stories and smashing them together. Now, sometimes this can be done well, most of the time not, though. But when they smash them together, they're making it more focused on the fairy tale aspect inside of Albion. Jack and the Beanstalk would never be a thing in Albion because they're different entire universes. They don't exist within the same frame, if that makes sense. So I get really annoyed when I hear it saying, oh, it's a fairy tale. And you can't tell me that's staying true to the spirit of the original trilogy. It's literally the opposite. None of the 1 through 3 had anything fairy tale related. It did have fantastical, it did not have fairy tale. So, I press X to doubt. The beloved Fable series is home to some of the best RPGs of the day, bringing us to a fairy tale world infused with British wit, which I do appreciate, and Fable had lots of that. Magic had that, and plenty of heroics or villainy if you choose so, or if you so choose. Now, here's the problem: the way the system is, and we'll get to that later on. Heroics and villainy don't technically exist. That's the funny part about this. They don't actually exist. The upcoming Xbox Series X game looks set to bring a lot of those signature elements back. Signature elements is a bit of a strong term. While also building on what came before. I'm like, you can build, but you're not building on what came before, you're building on what you made now. That's the problem. So if you're looking for a helpful recap, read on below to find a detailed overview of everything we know so far about Fable. So this is supposed to be Albion, which, I mean, I'm not going to lie, it's gorgeous in visuals. Not the character design, but the gameplay, or the cinematics and everything. Fable has a current release window set for autumn 2026. The launch window was revealed during the Xbox Developer Direct, and while it didn't give us a concrete release date, it does give us a more general idea when we can expect to see the adventure arrive this year, likely to stand between August and October. If we had to guess, we'd say it's likely to be up one of the earlier months given that GTA 6 is coming in November. We'll be watching out for further updates. I don't know if they'll care or not. It's not like you can't buy two games. Like, I've never understood this. It's like when they go to the theater and they're like, oh no, we have two movies competing. I'm like, are they really competing? Because you can go to both of them. Should they be competing? No, maybe it's just a fake, false narrative of, oh, they're competing. I'm like, but are they though? Like, yeah, if you have, Marvel Avengers Doomsday pop out, and you got, I don't know, something else pop out next to it, they're not really competing because you can go see both of them. This isn't a world in which you have one ticket and there's two options and you got to pick which one you're going to pay for. No, you can go to both. So I don't necessarily believe that's an accurate description, but be as it may. In-game, allegedly cinematic. As an in-house title, Playground's Fable is currently confirmed to launch on Xbox Series XS, PC, and PlayStation 5. That's right, originally we thought PS5 players would have to wait, but the game will be coming out this year for all of us and is officially going to be added to our list of upcoming PS5 games. It's not for all of us. Switch is not getting it. They wouldn't be able to run it. Fable 4 trailer. So far, we've had multiple Fable 4 trailers, and the good news is that you can actually find all of them here to watch. I don't care. The first trailer above sets the fantasy tone, not a fairy tale tone. Oh man, you guys didn't even keep that straight. Of the upcoming game, while also giving us some of the cheeky laughs as well. There's always cheeky laughs. It's freaking Fable, tons of them, especially when John Cleese is in it. Swords, magic, fairies, Albion, glimmering in the distance. All the Fable ingredients seem to be in the teaser, except they have more. The voiceover is familiar too. It just screams Royal Shakespeare Company. The world is filled with stories of legendary heroes and treacherous villains, of fantastical creatures and wondrous places, where nature and magic live in perfect harmony. Perfect's a bit of a stretch. Not all stories have happy endings, but yours is yet to be written. See, I don't like that. Not all stories have happy endings. That's fairy tale terminology, not fantasy terminology. The second teaser, aka the first full Fable 4 trailer, dropped at the Xbox Game Showcase 2023, which is where this all started. It revealed IT Crowd's Richard Ayoade, or Ayade, however, I don't care how his name is spelled or pronounced, is playing a wooden glasses wearing giant called Dave, who describes himself as a vegetable enthusiast but actually acts as a boss fight in the game. It's got some brilliant British humor in it, particularly the use of the word wanker. Now, here's the other problem. Fable knew how to give you some great humor while keeping it in the time period. It didn't bring you to the future where we are now. It kept you there. And I've tried to figure out why they put so much modern language. Like if you remember Forspoken, it's just riddled with modern lingo and a fantasy thing. Now, it partially made sense because she's not from the medieval fantasy world. She's came to that world. So it kind of makes sense, but at the same time, why not just make it inside the world? Why make it an isekai kind of thing? It's just irritating. That's what a troll looks like. And I gotta say, they look nice. We have a third teaser, which was shown at the Xbox Game Showcase 2024. In this clip, we will revisit the topic of herodom as seen in the first reveal, and a continuation of the mockumentary-style presentation as in the first trailer. Playground's latest sneak peek shows retired swashbuckler Humphrey giving his honest advice and memoirs to would-be heroes of Albion. Mockumentary-style presentation is not something I want to see in Fable. Because it's not a Fable signature. It's not the spirit of Fable. It's trying to appeal to how do I say this? It's trying to appeal to a modern audience that watches too much of The Office. Now, whether or not you can say you can watch too much of The Office or not, that's up to you. I don't care either way. But if you're playing a fantasy game and you're using The Office as your staple and your signature to, like, hey, it's great, it's a mockumentary, why? Here's the gameplay. Those are the Hobbs. Hobbs look good, at least so far. Fable is set to be an open world action RPG that will put us in the role of one of their first heroes in a generation. Just like games past, we'll start out as a child in the sleepy village of Briar Hill. Our heroic powers then manifest during a moment of danger, but disaster strikes shortly after when a mysterious stranger turns everyone in the village to stone. Oh, we're playing Dr. Stone rules. This event sets you on a path out into the wider world on an adventure that will shape Albion forever. Ooh. I'm like, oh. But anyway. As the Xbox Developer Direct revealed, the Albion we'll be exploring will be truly open world for the first time. I mean, 3 was pretty open world. I mean, not like amazingly open world, but like it was pretty noticeable. It wasn't that great of a game out of the 3, but it was definitely the third of the best, with the second one being the first and the first being the second. We'll be able to venture out early on in the game. It's classic Fable fashion. We'll be able to shape our journey in a myriad of ways with new, more nuanced morality system that's connected to the living population of the world. Why am I yawning? Now, we will say, I don't know. They haven't really announced yet or they might not even announce it because it might not be announce worthy, but are they putting items in particular places and you could just go to those places and find them and pick them out, kind of like in Skyrim, as well as the prior Fables where this weapon was always in this location and you just had to go get it? Or are they locking it behind the key system where you have to have 5 keys, 10 keys, 15 keys, or 20 keys, or 25 keys, or 30 keys, or whatever to unlock that particular type of thing? Are they making it just so you have to finish a riddle like the demon doors? Like, they haven't really specified, so that will be dependent. Like, that changes a game when it, like, open world, like when I play Elden Ring with Sage on the co-op mod. He basically got me one of the best staffs in the game within like 10 minutes of playing, because it's open world and he knew where it was and we just went straight to it. We found it and we got it, and that probably affected the gameplay a little bit, because if I had done it my own, which when I did it my own I never would have found that place because it was just out of freaking nowhere. Elden Ring's a terrible place to find things because it's nonsensical. So I don't know if that will do anything in that regard. Now, I find it funny, the more nuanced morality system, or as I say, lack thereof. So, as the Xbox Developer Direct revealed, the Albion will be exploring blah, 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 with over 1,000 NPCs across various settlements, and they are unique. 1,000 unique NPCs. Your reputation will be based on what the NPCs know and see what you've done. And since every NPC is said to be uniquely different, with their own personalities, traits, and likes, how they react to you, how you choose to behave, or the actions you take will depend on their own worldviews. That's not a morality system. That's moral relativism. It's subjectivism. That's not a morale system, but okay. It's a lack thereof. Excitingly, Fable will also see the return of jobs like blacksmithing you can do to earn money, and for those who loved being a property mogul, you'll be able to know that you can. You'll be able to know that you can once again. You mean you'll be glad to know that you can once again purchase houses and businesses to build your own property empire? Did you guys not edit this? Plus, you can also run those businesses with the option to hire NPCs you meet. That'd be kind of cool. Hire every single NPC in the game and all 1,000 of them working for you. And I say, ha, no one's on the streets to see me robbing people's houses. What's more, you can also date and marry the NPCs you encounter, have kids, and maybe get divorced. Well, you can just kill them too. It sounds like so many of the life... I don't think... Maybe they won't let you kill them. I don't know. It sounds like many of the life sim elements are coming back are making a comeback in a big way. While it sounds like we'll have plenty of people to meet during our adventures, it has been confirmed that no dog will feature in this adventure as our faithful companion. It's because people make this probably are cat fans and not dog fans. So that's a negative already. Our choices are said to have various ripples throughout the world, ripple effects throughout the world, with one example being how we decide to handle a gardener who drinks a potion that turns him into a giant, played by Richard Ayoade. Should you kill him, for example, his body will be strewn across the landscape in a part of the world for the rest of the game. Well, I mean, if he's trying to kill me or you, it would probably be a good idea to kill him. Or if you find him annoying, you kill him too. Freaking pumpkins. I can't read what that says. Oh. It's the F off of their world, I guess. Something free zone. I can't. Or Utah? I don't know. I can't see it. Fable's combat will see us be able to wield a sword, ranged weapon, and magic, and not unlike the original games. But Playground Games is setting out to make the combat more fluid and approachable this time around with heavy and light attacks. They have those, and combos to style finishers thrown in the mix. Okay. I mean, as long as they're not animation locked, that's going to be better, I suppose. But I would expect that of like a friggin' almost 20-year game series. General Manager Ralph Fulton said, "We really wanted to honor the strength, skill, and will concept of the original games, and our goal with combat in this game was to make something extremely fluid, extremely approachable, but extremely versatile as well, in a way that allows the player to express themselves within it." Well, that's what they all do. You pick your poison. As Fulton explains, this is not done through the choice of weaponry you pick, but also through the way they combine those styles, ranged melee magic seamlessly with any given combat encounter. They already had this in Fable 3. You could create a tornado whirlwind, but you could also mix it with fire and put it together. Now you have a fire whirlwind. This has been done. That was super important to us, the ability to go from striking with a sword seamlessly into casting a fireball. I agree, that's a good idea. Seamlessly into using the bow to take out a ranged enemy. Also agree, Fulton says. That's all had to feel really intuitive, really fluid, and allow the player to not just take on individual enemies, but take on the groups of enemies as well. They've never used a hammer before, apparently. And often groups of mixed enemies that just present different tactical challenges within that particular combat encounter. As the Xbox Developer Direct confirms, we can expect to face some familiar foes from the world of Albion, including the likes of Hobbs, Balverines, Hollowfolk, and Trolls. But there'll be some new enemies in the fray, including the giant, fire-breathing cockatrice. We can also expect to take on multiple enemies at once, as well as some tougher adversaries that play a little close to boss fights, as we're heroes that are a little more powerful than the average human. Customization. Fable will also feature more character customization than games past, with the Xbox Developer Direct revealing we'll be able to choose from a suite of different head models, skin tones, hairstyles, tattoos, and scars to shape our own hero. Sounds about what the games are, but okay. Historically, we've only ever gotten to choose between male and female pre-made characters. Funny how that works. Funny how that works. So it's exciting to know that we'll have more freedom to bring to life our look. And we'll also be able to choose our own clothing too, not unlike the original trilogy. Yeah. You could do that, yes. They're just grandstanding at this point. So that's a pretty cool looking place. Now, the question is it going to be different from Fable, the original Fable games, in that you can actually go all the way through the town, or is it just sections of the town? Because the way they did it in the previous one is there's only sections of the town you could go through. So that may be important or not. As the first truly open world take on Albion, we've at long last gotten to see some of the locations we expected adventure to. As the Xbox Developer Direct detailed, as well as everything from idyllic rolling hills to spooky marshes, will once again be able to venture to the capital city of Bowerstone, which prominently featured in Fable 2, home to the iconic Fairfax Castle, the Old Clock Tower, and the Heroes Guild. Well, Fable 2 is everyone's favorite, so that makes sense. We're said to meet its reclusive guildmaster, Humphrey the Golden. We'll also get to visit the bleak, windswept city of Bloodstone, which is said to feature two rival gangs vying for power, as well as a sinister and very well organized cult of shadows. How ominous. They've been around for a while, guys. Fable 4 development. Fable has been in the works for a long time at Playground Games, with Fulton telling us here, Games Radar Plus, that the team had a desire to do something different in terms of genre as far back as the release of Forza 3 almost 10 years ago. You've had this game in for development for 10 years, and it's been difficult for you to just make it seem more like the Fable games, but okay. With two new teams assembled to work on the project on Leamington Spa, UK, the upcoming RPG is said to be a real passion project for Playground, with many joining the team, especially to work on Fable game as fans first and foremost. Okay. There's a problem with the fans first and foremost, because here's the thing. Everybody claims to be a fan, whether it be first and foremost or otherwise. Everyone says, I'm a fan of X. And then when X is done poorly or treated terribly by the people who are making it, they yell at the other fans for not accepting it. That's not a fan, that's first and foremost. That's not even a fan. That's a person wanting to imprint some of their beliefs into something else. That's literally it. So this is a very bad sign. Because, yeah, if you've played a Fable game, you're probably a fan of the Fable franchise. Cool. But don't be like, I'm a fan, therefore it's going to be good. You could say, I'm a fan, allegedly, and I hope it will make you enjoy the series. That's a very different approach to things. So, that was the first part I wanted to show you. So that's the article. Gives you kind of an idea. But now I want to look at something that gives the quote-unquote 20 new details revealed. Some of them we've already gone over, so we won't have to waste as much time on them. So, here we go. Zoom these in for you. Fable, 20 new details revealed. I can do that. You can get married and have kids. Already knew that. You could already do that in the old games. That's what's supposedly new, I guess. You can buy houses and businesses. You could do that in the old ones too. There will be a full character creator. You didn't really have that. So that will be new and could potentially be good. But I am foreseeing body type A, body type B as this. But I love this. There'd be a full connector creator, because whoever made this couldn't spell. You can talk to every NPC. You could do that in the prior one too, but maybe they mean in a more detailed fashion, I'm guessing. Not just, hi, are you here to sell something? Go, oi, how you doing, mate? Thousands of NPCs have daily schedules. Schedules are pretty obvious. If you worked at a business, if you're a blacksmith, you're in the blacksmith place from morning till night, and then repeat process every day, which isn't realistic per se. There's a reputation system. I understand the reputation system. It's always been there, but here's the thing. That's not a morality system. First truly open world Fable. It's probably the largest open world, but it's not the actual. I mean, what does truly open world mean? What find me a game. The only one I can think of off the top of my head is like No Man's Sky. That's the only one I can really think about. That's a true open world. Choices affect the world. It's how it's always been. It wouldn't be Fable if you didn't do that. You can become a landlord. That's part of businesses, yes. Evicted tenants become homeless. Or they could go find another home, but okay, sure. Buy everything, kick everybody out, win the game. NPCs judge your appearance. People being judgmental? What? You don't say. 1- and 2-handed weapons. Yes, that's always been there. Bows and magic bows. Also always been there. So out of these, there's only a couple things that are actually like out of 20, you maybe have 16 of them that are the same as prior, and like 4 of them being sure, like what did you expect, kind of a thing. So I'm not exactly 100% certain on what they're thinking is supposed to be like a real wowzer, right? Now, I want Fable to be good. I really, truly do. I just played all 3 of them this past year. You can go look in my live streams. You can go find the Fable live streams where I did them. I beat all 3 of them. They're fantastic. They're fun games. Obviously, 2's the best, 1's the next best, 3's the worst. But I did beat them, and it's not the first time I've beaten them. I've played them when I was a kid, or teenager, I guess, and I've loved them. I love the morality system. This does not show anything sign-wise that there is a morality system. And they've done things where they've shown people talking to you and whatnot. It's not based on a morality system, it's based on a reputation system, which is more accurate to say. Now, you come across an NPC, and the NPC says, I don't like that you did this. Okay, that's not a morale thing or a morality thing. That's you just don't like it. That's a reputation thing. You have a reputation for being a sneaky bugger. Okay, I don't like sneaky buggers. Okay, fair enough. Doesn't mean being a sneaky bugger is immoral. It can be, but it doesn't mean it's inherently immoral. So a morality system is this is a bad and this is a good thing, regardless of the NPC's personal preferences. Because you might come across an NPC that's okay with you murdering people, maybe even murdering them. That doesn't mean that's not evil, right? Like that's the difference. Now, I could see people who are unhappy with the direction it's going, probably like myself, doing a joke thing where you just go through and you start killing people because you just feel like it. Because like somebody says, "I don't like you," you kill them. Like take a drink every time, a shot every time that happens. Like somebody in there's always going to be really irritated at you, right? So what do? Continue on, I guess. I mean, like what is the point of that? Like you literally can't make everyone happy. By definition, if you have subjective opinions or claiming subjective morality and you have subjective opinions, you and somebody else are going to have polar opposites. So it's literally impossible to make everybody happy, but you can disappoint everybody by just being the opposite. Not even the opposite, like just a random amalgamation of things. So I struggle with this being like a super great thing. I'm cautious, more or less, I'm cautiously pessimistic. I'm assuming by nature it's going to be a terrible game. Not necessarily in the gameplay, but in like a terrible Fable game, as in it doesn't represent Fable accurately, or the universe of Fable. It doesn't represent Albion accurately. But I really won't know ultimately until we get to the fall. And once we get to the fall, maybe it will be, maybe it won't be, but we don't know. So hopefully it'll be good. I'll be happier if it's good, but I have a sinking suspicion it's going to have some agendas in it, like making an actress ugly, like body type A and B, going beyond what you did in Fable 1, 2, and 3, which you could cross-dress, you could do all sorts of things like that. But the character creator makes it sound like you're going to be able to just do literally anything with anything, which I'm not inherently against, but I feel like they're going to try to push something in that, and I don't like that in gaming. I think that should be left aside from gaming, but gotta gatekeep your hobbies, folks. So, that's more or less my thoughts on it as of right now with what we know. Um, not all rainbows and unicorns. Actually, it might be too many rainbows and unicorns. Um, but I will say the original three Fables, you could have lesbian relationships, you could have bisexual relationships, you could have gay sexual relationships, you could have normal straight white relation, not straight white. You could have straight any relationship. You could have interracial, non-interracial, whatever. I'm sorry, I'm so used to saying straight white male because that's all they accuse everybody of when they're straight and white and male, or cis white male, whatever they call it. Um, they have all different types of things, and I don't really care about that stuff because the idea is to let you kind of do whatever you want, but it's not the idea of what reality is. It's the idea, not even of fantasy reality. It's just kind of whatever they deem as developers should be the case as opposed to what is the case. So I'm kind of annoyed by that. Um, but there are some things that just like, we'll see. I hope the combat's fluid. I like fluid combat, not like fluid animation stop combat, which they always say, "Oh, it's fluid combat," and it's really not. It's more like practically turn based with how bad it is. Um, so I don't know. Well, we'll have to find out, and hopefully you'll hop along on the ride with me. And I mean, as we get closer to it, and they release more stuff, or maybe people get early reviews of it, maybe I'll play it, maybe I won't. I don't know. I haven't decided. I'm tired of my favorite franchises being burned to the ground and then being resurrected as a corpse and claiming, "This is the same thing. You need to like this. If you don't like this, you're fill in X." And I hate when they do that. Like, I'm allowed to dislike things. You're allowed to dislike things. If you dislike it, that's okay. If you like it, that's okay. My problem is I don't want it to create more bad content. I don't want it to treat other IPs disrespectfully. I want to actually treat them with the respect they deserve they've gained from being excellent games from over the years. Like, tons of really good games have happened in the last 20, 30 years, even 40 years probably. So why do we have to make them suck? Right? So that's all I got for this time, but um thanks all for sticking around. Leave a comment with your own opinions, your own thoughts. Are you excited? Are you pessimistic? Are you angry? Are you happy? Whatever it might be. Let me know what you think could happen, what you hope will happen, or vice versa. Um, just leave a comment. Like, comment, subscribe if you deem me worthy of that. Um, please share if you don't mind, even if you want to make fun of me and throw it on Reddit and make like, check out this loser. Even then, I'd appreciate it. Um, check the description below if you would like to follow on socials, which would be Twitter/X. You can follow me on Discord. You can follow me on Criticless. Um, when Criticless gets video games, I will be going practically full-time job typing out freaking reviews for games because I have a lot of games. A lot of games. What else? Oh yeah, content creators also in the description below, as well as businesses that you might want to support in your if you're in those particular areas and industries. So, thanks everybody for hanging out. Sorry, my voice is still not all the way back to where it was beforehand, and I'm working on that. So, thanks everybody for sticking around, and remember, my friends, walk in the light.